Doesn't mean I race it. I only rode it for the second time. Anyway, go ahead. Do your intro, bro.
Welcome to the Road is Dead podcast. My name is Rob Curtis. I'm here in, I'm here with Leah, and joining us remotely.
Whatever.
Joining
Tim.
us remotely is Tim. Hi, Tim. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you guys? Good to see you.
I am here. It's definitely good to see you. We didn't record for a week.
Nope.
Because Leah was gone buying houses and shit.
Let's not crack that egg right now.
Yeah. Okay.
We just had 15 minutes banter about that. Let's leave that where it's at.
Yeah.
Floating around in the universe. What
I
are you looking at on your phone?
I don't mind mentioning. We're buying a house in Tucson. I'm not moving to Tucson, but I will have a second home in Tucson, which I am excited about. More opportunities to go down there and ride bikes. If you don't mind me talking about Arizona quickly here. Yeah. Okay.
Please
so,
do.
I have.
When do I get a vote?
I have always wanted to do some gravel riding down there. Ended up getting to ride down in Patagonia, which is just south of Tucson, a couple days, and it was everything I dreamed it would be. It was amazing. So
Yeah.
I am looking forward to being able to do a lot more gravel and mountain biking down there, in addition to all the road riding that I love, because I absolutely love Tucson. So excited about that. That's all I have.
Touch on your team camp. How's the team camp?
Oh yeah, team camp. It was great this year. It was a little bit smaller number. We started out with 4 of us, and then we had 3 more join us for the second half of camp.
Nice.
Covered a lot of great miles, lots of opportunities for people to stretch their legs. I like to have, because we're a co-ed camp, and it's not just because co-ed, but just the nature of some riders want to get a little spicy or like stronger than the average of the whole group, and I want to give people an opportunity to stretch their legs and go hard and play if they want. And this is so I always try to identify those areas in the routes and say, okay, this is a great stretch because it's really simple there's no turns or anything. You got 5 miles until the end of this road. This is a great place for people that want to just hammer it and go play, chase, have fun. And then when you get to the end, we all regroup and then continue on together. So lots of flexibility, being able to run the routes like that, and has worked out really well. It was my biggest concern going to a co-ed camp, whether or not, some of the stronger people would be frustrated, going a slower pace. I keep, everybody understands, hey, we're doing a lot of miles. So going slow when you're riding multiple hours a day is a really good thing, all that good mitochondria building stuff. But also people get antsy, and if they're feeling good, they have opportunities to gas it.
How much time do you guys, when you're riding out there, how much time do you guys spend on that, the path system that they have?
So yeah, this is the first time. It's called the Loop, and this is the first time that I don't like riding on the Loop when we have a big group. So if you have a group of like 6 or more, there's a lot of places where you go underneath roads, or there's tight turns or things where you have blind turns and the underpasses and all that, where you need to get single file and really watch out. And there's some congested areas on the north side of the Loop. So I tend to avoid too much time on the Loop with big packs. But since there were only 4 of us, I was like, hey, this is a perfect opportunity. Let's just go ride the Loop one day and just do the entire circuit.
It's like 50 plus miles or
55
something like that, or more.
miles. 55 miles. Our house is like a mile and a half off of the trail.
That's awesome.
So it was great. And we ended up doing the entire Loop twice. And it wasn't, I didn't really pre-plan it like that, but I wanted to, we were going to do the shootout ride. And so we started camp on the first big day was on a Friday. The
Yeah.
shootout is on Saturday. And so I was trying to figure out, I was like, okay, we did the loop on Friday. It was a cold day. Did we do that on Friday? I think we did. So it was kind of a cold day on Friday. And then Saturday, it was still really cold with a chance of rain in the forecast for the morning. So we all agreed, yeah, we don't really want to do the shootout. It's 7:30 in the morning and it's cold. So we decided to nix that. And what we ended up doing was a longer ride one day where we did the loop and then we jumped off and went and did this park on the east side called Swaro East, where I ran into Marco Colbert and Todd Bustede. So it was super funny. Todd's the announcer for all of our Grit series and Tully and stuff like that, or Toad. So he saw us all in our assignment kits and he rolls up and he's like, assignment team camp. So it was fun. It's literally every year I run into somebody there that I know from Chicago going into that park. So we did that park and then we rode down and we did a ride up this climb called Pistol Hill. And there's a really long, super fun descent all the way back into town from there. And that's the first time I've taken us all the way down there because it's a complete opposite side of town. We're on the northwest side of town, and that's all the way on the southeast part of town.
Okay.
So it ended up being an 80+ mile day for us, which encompassed all of the loop trail plus those two offshoots. So it was awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of the gems I think about riding in Tucson is having that trail system. So if you really just don't want to deal with cars, I mean, I suppose it would get a little boring after a while of riding the same trail all the time. But it is nice.
If safety is your main concern, who cares?
Yeah.
You can always, spice it up, do intervals, do whatever,
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we did classic rides. We always do Gates Pass and ride down through the Tucson Mountain Park, the national park over there, which is just stunningly beautiful. So lots of good classic routes, and the fact that we stayed at the same house now for I think the 4th year in a row potentially.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that if you guys had the same accommodations every year.
Yeah, it makes it really easy for me because I'm the route planner and I don't have to redesign routes because every time we change our house, I got to redesign all the routes. And it used to be that camp was produced by me and Katie. Now it's just me. So I was like, well, if I don't have to worry about redesigning the routes, that makes my life a lot easier.
Yeah.
So this worked out really well.
Nice. I'm sure those that attend appreciate it for sure.
Oh yeah, everybody was very appreciative, and I think had a good time. And
good. Yeah.
So goal achieved. Fantastic. Out of 11 days in a row, I rode 10. And not all of them were big days. A couple were short DZ, but most of them were, around 55 miles. And then we had a couple that were in the 80s.
Nice. It's a good. Checked all the boxes. That's good.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So I'm not adjusting well to being back home. I am cold, and I'm angry about being cold. I just want to be warm again.
Yeah, I get it, but you just ride outside for a few days and you'll get used to it. You'll be shedding layers again.
Okay.
I think we're right on the cusp. We have the 55s, we have the 60s, which I think it's supposed to be 75 on Friday, but very windy. What I'm irritated with is the amount of days in a row we've had high winds.
Yeah.
That's just like, it's like banging your head against the wall for hours on end and then stopping, turning around, and someone just kicking you in the crotch as hard as they can. And then you go back to just banging your head against the wall for a bunch of hours.
Yeah.
And just never lets up. But you know what? obviously it's good physical training, but I feel like when it's super windy, it's the best time to get out and work on your mental strength because there's no break from it. You just have to deal with it. And
Yeah.
it teaches you how to like suffer. Like really.
I've been riding in some of it, but it's
it
not
just
fun.
teaches you how to suffer.
Yeah.
It's good. And then our local crit season is about to open, right? Your first venue is a wide open, exposed racetrack, a performance car track, right? So those that have been inside until Saturday are going to be all over the place. That place is
Right.
notoriously windy.
Yeah.
So if you are racing that, be careful and watch out for those that don't
I
have
was
good
just
bike control.
That's what I was looking at. I was looking at the schedule for that. So this weekend in the Chicagoland area, there's the Autobahn Omnium that they're doing down in Joliet. So there's a criterium, a road race, or there's two criteriums and a time trial.
Saturday's a time trial crit, and then Sunday's a crit.
Yeah, something to that effect. It looks like, in looking at it too, I was trying to debate whether or not I wanted to try to race the 50 plus, because I mean everybody there can absolutely slaughter me, but what does it matter? I'm just going to go out there and try to ride if I'm going to do it. And
it's a crit in March. Don't chase results. Chase fitness.
I'm just going out there to spend it. I got to be down there anyway, so I'm like, I might as well have a hard ride out of it.
Was there an ICA meeting?
No, just with the team and everything. And then it's either that or the 4.5s, and I just realized that the 4.5s are on course at the same time as the 50 plus. They start like 2 minutes behind them or something, which is interesting. I didn't know they were going to do that. But I do want to plug this also this weekend. I've been asked to plug this a few times by Patrick. There is the Screw City cyclocross races. This Sunday, March 30th, over in Rockford, there's a cyclocross race. So go check it out on Bike Reg. I don't know what it's full. It's Screw City Cyclocross Series. You should be able to look it up by that and figure it out. But over in Alpine Hills Park in Rockford this Sunday, March 30th. So
all you diehard crossers out there, go scratch the itch.
Oh, I got to tell you, I would really love to go.
Glued up.
I was asked this morning. This morning, yeah. And it was, hey, did you ever put tires on that wheel set?
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, what wheel set? Oh, yeah, no, that aluminum set that we agreed that we were not going to put tires on until the start of this next season.
Yeah.
Okay, so you haven't glued tires on that yet? Because I think I'm going to race on Sunday. Oh, okay. Well, then come on by, and I'm sure I've got a set of wheels we can use.
Wow.
That was obviously Jimmy Canella.
Oh, he's not going.
He's been on the trainer since the start of the year. So
yeah, he's not going. I love.
He says
Jimmy,
he is. He's already signed up apparently. So
yeah.
I don't know.
How many times, dude? Jimmy's gonna see the temperature and go, "Nah, I ain't doing that."
Yeah, and it's supposed to rain on Sunday too, isn't it?
Bingo.
Yeah.
He's gonna go. Oh, then I gotta clean my bike, and
I gotta drive all the way over there.
Right.
Yeah, he'll
it's
be
not
excuse
even cross
city.
season.
And we know you're listening, Jim.
I know you.
You're listening. This is our way of poking the bear.
That's why I'm calling you out.
Yep.
That's why I'm calling you out
to make sure that you ride it. So I don't know. I might be racing this weekend just to do something.
Whatever you do, you should race this weekend.
Oh, jeez, sure. I don't know.
Just go chase some fit. Just, you know what? Go just chase some fitness. Some fitness you're not getting by, your Tuesday night rides or sitting on the train.
No one showed up for the Tuesday night rides. I'm doing them on my own.
Well, that's because it's a little too cold for people still.
Oh, it was the last two times I guess this last Tuesday was bad.
That's a fact, dude.
Well, the 1-2 weeks ago, we were in shorts. I was in shorts and short sleeves.
Yeah.
It was beautiful out there.
Yeah, I mean, but
just everybody's whipping out this year.
Not. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. We've been riding outside through some real crap this year, and now that it's kind of nice. I mean, to your point though, the wind is brutal.
Yeah, the wind gets you. I mean, no matter what the field, no matter what the real temperature is versus the feels like, the wind will always cut through and
Yeah.
take 5 degrees, 10 degrees away from you.
Yeah. Rode it's last Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was like the sun was out. My car said like 60 degrees on it or whatever when I was getting in the car. I'm like, but I was dressed in like a thermal jersey, full bib or full tights and everything. And I'm like,
ooh,
man, I am sweating right now just being here, but I have a feeling I'm going to need this because the real feel is like in the mid 40s. And
especially as you guys get later in the day and the nighttime comes, it's
so
gonna get real cold.
we left at like 5:30 and we headed north, and we had a headwind the whole first leg, and that the wind was so bitingly cold. It was crazy. I actually ended up putting a vest on as we were riding, even though I had all that other stuff on. So it was weird. The sun came out and you would bake and sweat. And the second the sun kind of went behind a cloud or you got into some woods, it felt like it was 20 degrees. It was horrible.
Yeah. 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 I think I've only had 2 rides this spring where I haven't had leg warmers on.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I've been getting better. I've been listening to the Kenny LeBay way of doing it, and if it's under 70, I've been putting something on. So if it's in the 60s, I've got, if it's not leg warmers, it's at least knee warmers that I got on. Yeah. And
warm
I gotta say, I've been happy.
A lot better than cold.
I've been happy about it. So not that I'm turning into a Kenny fight, but I'm a Kenny fight. If that makes sense. No one knows what I'm talking about. Love you, Kenny. Thanks for the advice. Anyway, so what are we doing? You're not racing this weekend. You're not sure what you're doing.
I thought you were, Leah.
No, I have a whole bunch of family stuff going on this weekend. My son Nathan has designed a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon dive. He's dungeon mastering for my whole family. So we're doing Saturday. We're going to be doing a big dungeon dive together. And then we are celebrating my husband's 60th birthday on Sunday. So I will.
Sounds
unfortunately,
isn't it his birthday today?
Technically, it's today, but we're celebrating on Sunday. We got a big party planned. So
nice. Yeah, bike racing's always going to be there.
Yeah, and honestly,
Is it though? Is it really?
You get. Well, I don't.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm also mentally not really in the mood to race just yet. Still trying to absorb everything from Tucson. So
I'm doing the thing where a couple of things. One, I'm going to go to the race even though I have no desire to go because I want to support racing. Mm-hmm. It's a Chicagoland race. I've been to it since day one, and it's our South Chicago friends that are putting it on. And because of that, I will be there in support of it. Now,
good group of people.
Yeah, and that's where my loyalty is, and it's going to show regardless, because honestly, I would love to go race the cross race. I'm saying that right now. I'm going on record as saying, Patrick, my apologies. I would love to go race cross on Sunday. I know Anthony's going out there, but it's these are connections that go back 20 years. So, I can't even begin to list the number of times that those fools down there on the south side have helped us out. So I will be there, and I will at least register so I can throw some money their way, regardless of whether or not I throw a leg over the bike. But if I'm going to be there anyway, might as well get some quote unquote riding in.
You know what? I just had an idea. If you're going to go, right? If you're going to go, well, you are going, okay?
Yeah.
Throw some money their way. Just at least do the TT.
I thought of that.
The shortest, most violent effort, and then you're done.
Right. Yeah. So, when you absolutely positively have to throw up.
Yeah. What? Right? Go get that little fitness bump, and then be done.
It turns out it's so this is the end of Andrew's spring break, and it's the start of Parker's spring break. And Julie was like, why are we driving back and forth both days? Because it's down in Joliet. She's like, let's just go get a cheap hotel room, and it'll just be like a fun adventure for like his first, bit of spring break. We'll go out to eat somewhere and do something. I'm like, you realize it's Joliet, right? It's not like we're. What are we gonna do? Go by the penitentiary and hang out and see if there's anything going on?
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, just go stay at the Joliet or the Chicagoland NASCAR track.
Yeah.
You go to the casino.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with
Oh, that's
Parker,
right.
that should work well. She's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if there's like a pool in the hotel, then I don't know, we'll do that, or let's just sit in and watch movies or something.
Parker is so bummed right now. He's like, really, my spring break, and I gotta go spend it at a bike race.
Yeah, he would much rather be in the basement on his computer.
He's gonna be like, you're gonna get home and he's gonna go, Rob, Julie, let me tell you something.
Rob,
I'm 12.
Julie.
I'm 12 years old now. I got this house by myself.
Yeah. We went to Top Golf last night.
Oh,
and
that must have been an adventure.
Dude, it's the first time we've ever gone. We've wanted to go. I've wanted to go for a very long time. I used to play a lot of golf.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I was ever good, but I played a lot of golf. I did enjoy playing. And I haven't touched clubs in probably 15 years because, bikes.
Yeah.
And but we have some friends that wanted to take us out there. They had a discount coupon. And so we went as two families to go out there and do it. We figured if there's that many people there, then it's not as big of a hit because it's expensive as hell, dude, to go out there and do it. Yeah. And the place was absolutely packed. It turns out on Tuesday they had more reservations than they've ever had since they've been open. And we went last night, Wednesday, and they were like out of everything, and it was just kind of weird. All that being said, even though we didn't go to the nines or anything, I still spent a small fortune being there for the amount of time that we were there. But all this to say, Andrew apparently has zero athletic talent when it comes to sports ball. Maybe he could develop it over the years. Are you
surprised?
A little, because he's really good at bikes when he decides to do bikes, and he's weightlifting all the time, and doing that. So he has some innate athletic nature. It doesn't have anything to do with stick and ball sports. And Parker, when he showed up, he's a left-hander. And so we're like, let's get you some left-hand clubs and get you all set up. He couldn't hit anything off that left-handed tee. And then we hey, why don't you just try a right-handed glove? And he started actually getting a nice arc on the ball and actually being able to direct it in places. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Julie looked at me and goes, man, maybe we need to get him in some golf lessons or something. It's like something, man. Let's just get him out of the house, out from behind that damn computer. But I say that, but if I were him, that's what I would be doing. And quite honestly, I spent my entire childhood staring at a TV watching Scooby-Doo and Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch and playing on my computer, my Tandy 1000 Model 25A, which was 33 megahertz. Or no, I think it was 8 megahertz. Never mind.
I spent my childhood leaving the house at 6 a.m. and coming back at 7.
Yeah. I rode around the neighborhood when it was all reruns,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds a lot like my childhood. So.
Yeah.
But wait, so we're racing this weekend, or you're not racing this weekend. You're not doing anything. But last weekend you did race, correct?
I did. Yeah.
Now
I
you went to
Michigan.
Melting Man. I know nothing about this race, but enough people have mentioned it. Give me the full rundown. So this gravel event, obviously.
Yeah. It's an event I've probably put off. It's been on my radar for about 5 or 6 years, and I've put it off every single year. And this year I was finally like, you know what? I raced Dirty South Bay finally, so I was like, cool. That was an awesome event. I've never raced this early in a year, like in a calendar year. So I'm like, okay, Barry's coming up. I need to go feel Michigan in the legs, because Michigan just hits different, way different than anything we have here, and way different than Dirty South Bay.
Yeah.
And so Michigan is, doing this, I was like, all right, this will at least prepare you for what's to come with Barry, even though I know what Barry is and I've done it a few times. I went and did this. It's over in a town called Jones, Michigan. It's 2.5 hours from my house in Geneva. So I drove there on Friday, pre-rode for a while, stayed in Elkhart, Indiana, and then drove to the race on Sunday. I think this was the 12th edition of it, taken on by new organizers, to run flawlessly, put together flawlessly, great sponsors, great attendance. I think this was its biggest iteration, 700 people. So that's pretty cool. It's the first race in the Michigan gravel series. Like Michigan has an entire like 20 or 25 race gravel series throughout the entire calendar year, which is phenomenal. So I pulled the plug, went there. I've always wanted to do it. Weather was good. It was dry. The course was awesome. It's typical Michigan, just nothing, no real sustained climbs, just roller after roller after roller after roller for
Yeah.
60 miles. Some are short and sweet, some are steep and punchy. It's a whole different thing, and it was windy. So anyway, I went there and I didn't really have any expectations other than get like a good fitness day out of it. I was like, it's too early for me to put my eggs in a basket, even though I had, felt good, and Dirty South Bay went pretty good. Sitting there and I'm like, okay, we go off at 9 a.m., which was cool. The gun goes, there's no neutral, no neutral,
Oh, wow.
zero. So I was like, I was not prepared for that. Was not prepared for that at all. And that's on me. I didn't take my warm up seriously enough. Dudes take off and it just blows up right from the whistle. Like a bomb went off. Boom. Dudes take off like a Zwift race. Like 700 watts, just boom, just gone. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. So I'm trying to catch up like like this. We're not even out of the park yet. Like it's at a speedway. It starts at a speedway, a asphalt oval for modified cars, and then there's a big field we start in, and we take off. You go down, make a right, and then you get onto the main road, hit a climb, and before we even got out of off the grounds, it was blown up, and first climb up before we make a right hand turn at the top and get onto gravel proper. I managed to catch the 4 dudes that went off the front, and then we turned right. There was a guy on my left. He got squirrely because he can't turn on loose gravel, almost crashed me, and then just a ton of dudes just. So I try to catch up to them, and I'm blown. Like we are literally 95 seconds into this race, and I'm like, I am fucked right now. Like,
wow.
I'm just like, this has never happened. It just happened to me one other time, and it was at Rough Road in like 2022. I just blew up immediately, totally
Sorry,
unprepared.
I love
go
the
ahead.
expression. This has never happened to me before.
Well, it has.
This has only happened one other time.
One other time, and I was like, it's a sinking feeling when you have fitness, and you just can't do anything about it. Like my legs were blocked for the whole day. My heart rate was through the roof. I slept like shit the night before in the hotel. I'm not making excuses for that, because that happens a lot of time. I feel like anyone is outside of their comfort of their own bed. You don't get the quality of sleep you get in a hotel, right? So the lead group forms and goes off, and I'm struggling. Like I'm like, this is terrible. And if 6 minutes in, I'm like, I'm just gonna turn around and go home. I'll be home before noon. This will be perfect. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. Like I had to fight, pull out, or keep going. The two little mini me's on my shoulder. Like, what do I do here? And my mentality as a bike racer is just don't quit. Like, because quitting is the worst thing you could do. You'll be more upset with yourself if you quit than if you get dead last.
Yeah.
But you go the distance and you get something out of it.
Yeah.
Right?
If you're new to this, keep that in mind. That's one to put away as a mantra.
Yeah. Just don't quit. Just do the thing, go the distance, and you'll find that by the end, you get something out of it. It may not be what you want or what you thought or what you had hoped for, but you will get something out of it. So I watched this group of like, you all know the feeling when you're sitting there and you're struggling and people are just like, shoom, shoom, just whipping by you. And you're like,
oh, I know that feeling.
You're just like, what the hell is going on? And it was happening, and then it finally stopped, and I'm like, okay, this is me. This is where I'm existing for the day. But the lead pack of like 25 to 30 people isn't far off. You just can't. You have nothing to do to get there, right?
Yeah.
And there's no one behind you strong enough to help you bridge the gap. So that lead group just rides off into the sunset, and then you're stuck. So you're just stuck with this mixed bag of individuals for the remainder of your day. And that happened to me, and I was with thankfully I knew one of the guys, Jason Kleptowski, who's a local here. He does a lot of mountain bikes. He's got a moto background. I see him all the time at the mountain bike races. So he was in the group. It was me, him, and some other people that I'm unfamiliar with. And it's a very weird feeling because I have like I know me, I know my abilities, I know my skill set, but I don't know anyone else's skill set around me. And it's wild to figure that out through the course of the event and watch how bad people are at actually riding bikes.
Yeah.
You could have all the horsepower in the world, but my God, 9 out of 10 of these people cannot turn their bikes or do anything. It blew my mind. They can't even read their freaking computers to tell them when to turn.
That's crazy.
I was sitting in here going, this is my life right now. I'm in this group of people that are strong and they deserve to be where they're at, but man, are they really bad bike riders?
Yeah.
You know? So that was my first conversations with myself for the first hour plus. So I'm going along and I'm like, all right, I got to try to make something happen here. I got to do something. I got to get something out of this. So I just kind of ignored everybody else and started doing my own thing. Like every hill, I just dug in. Like you could just put that effort in, put the effort in, get the body familiar with the repeatability of these Michigan little punchy climbs. So I did that, and there's always a few people willing to work. The majority of the group doesn't want to do anything, and they'll just kind of wheel suck, or they'll pull on the downhill, which is okay because you get a break if they're pulling on the downhill. There was like 3 or 4 in the group that were consistently rolling through, but the majority would just kind of sit in, not really do anything. And the race goes on, and it's like it's fast, it's slow, it's cafe pace, it's bell lap pace. It's like, this is like, if we just ride consistently at 20 miles an hour, we'll make progress. Like, we should just do that. So that's kind of where that became my mentality. I'm like, I'm just going to do my thing, and whatever happens, happens. So I just, like I said, I started, riding the hills hard, making sure I could sustain over the top of every climb, and just pick on these little areas to work on in the early season, so that when it really matters, I have that ability, and not like just grind to the top of a punchy little climb and then be like, I'm dead, because we've all been there. So just practice, hitting the climb hard over the top, down the backside for whatever, and then just trying to work on sustained efforts thereafter, staying on top of things, just trying to like really put, trainer workouts into reality in the field. So that's happening. The race is doing the pack's doing whatever it's doing. And then we get to like mile 34, 35, and there's 2 really like punchy climbs. There's an asphalt climb that's probably, I don't know, quarter of a mile, but it's like 14%. So I'm like, and I knew it from the day before because I pre-wrote. I'm like, I need to go see these two little climbs, and they come at like 34 miles and then like 36 and a half. They're pretty close together, and it's a big separator. So I knew what we were getting into. So I turned the screws on the first asphalt climb and left the group. I'm like, this is perfect. I left the group, and then, well, I didn't leave the group completely. I got a gap, and then you descend a little. Yeah, split the group up, descended a little hill, turned left, and then you hit this long road, which the name is the race is named after, called Mann Road, and it's a seasonal road that's only open for, I think the term melting man comes from that road officially being open for the season. Like the county opens the road and whatever the conditions are for the road, they are. Turns out this whole entire course was like almost glass smooth, super compact, super fast. It was really nice. A little bit of chunk, but we get to the Mann Road and it's almost like you guys have obviously done Barry. You know when you descend the hill and then you turn left and go to Sega Road?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost exactly like that. So you go down a little hill, turn left, and then you continue onto this road, and it's for probably 2 to 3 miles. It's just big, like long rollers down. So I had by the time we got to the top of that first little punch on Man Road, I had a huge gap, and I just kept on it, kept on it, kept on it, and I managed to get away from the group for probably 7 miles, and I had picked up dudes that were blown up from the lead group. 3 or 4, maybe 5 people I had bridged up to. They would latch on. We would drop a guy here or there, and then um, no luck though. Then when I would catch them, they didn't want to work. So I'm like, I'm not even going to concern myself with that. I'm not going to get frustrated at that because that's something that I normally would do. Is just like I caught you, let's just work. But I'm like, I'm not going to concern myself with that. I'm just going to do my thing. I'm going to get what I can get out of this. Turns out the group that I was in got thinner, but had come back to me. So now we were a ballooned group of maybe, I don't know, 9, 10. Um, some young kids, we had caught some young kids that had fallen from the lead group. And one of the kids I recognized from the Barry 100 last year, and he rode the exact same way. Like his pulls were very light, very minimal, and then with a mile to go, he just hits the gas. I recognized him. I was like, "You little twerp." Um, but he's strong nonetheless. So it just kind of ebbed and flowed for the last little bit, and then I managed. There's a climb before you get back to the speedway. There's a punchy climb. I hit it there, and then managed to get around a few people. And I don't know what I got overall, but I ended up winning the 40 to 49. I'm too afraid to look at what I got just because of the how bad the day was.
Hmm.
Just physically, it was a mental victory for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was physical suffering. Like it's just one of those ones where your legs they're just blocked,
So you
and
think if you had warmed up before the race, you would have been prepared better to deal with that?
I
Or
think so.
if you knew mentally that was going to happen?
Yeah, well, I didn't. And it's fully on me. Like I blame myself. It's nobody else's fault. I didn't know that there wasn't gonna be a neutral. I found out on the start line, and I was like, oh God, okay. Um, my warm up, I could have took a little more serious, and I would have if I'd known it was going to be a full gas from the gun type of thing. That's on me. I have no one to blame for that. Um, and here's another thing, and I think I shot myself in the foot. I pre-rode. So let me back up here. A couple times during the year last year, if I raced on a Saturday, I would do openers on a Thursday, right? And then take the Friday easy, just kind of shake things out. And I did that. I did that for Dirty South Roubaix, and my legs were awesome. So I'm like, cool, I'll try that strategy again. Did my openers on Thursday, drove up there, early Friday, got there, pre-rode it. I started pre-riding at like 1:30 or 2 o'clock. My legs felt terrible. And I was like, okay. I'm not too worried about it because I could shake this out, right? Like I could shake this out during the ride. But when you pre-ride a course like that or anything really in Michigan, there's no flat. You're
Yeah.
up and down and up and down and up and down. And to make matters worse, the wind was like steady 30 miles an hour.
Ugh.
So I was like, okay, I got to balance, my efforts up these hills and not going 5 miles an hour when it's flat because there's a 30-mile-an-hour headwind. So by the end of my pre-ride, my legs felt okay. but the whole time I'm like, what do I do here? What do I do here? Should I change my gear? And I panic swapped when I got to the hotel and changed my gear, changed my chain ring. And that was, knowing what I know now, that was very bad of me to do, because instead of riding middle cassette, I was now down. I went from a 46 to a 44, and I was like, okay. And for those listening, I use a 1x system on this bike currently. So I went from 46 to a 44, and I was like, that was a bad move, and I knew it. I knew it as soon as the race started, when I tried to bridge that gap. 44, 44:11. You have, you know, you're not. It sounds easy, but it's not, right? Um, it just blew myself up. And if I had not panicked and stayed with the 46, I could have. I think the outcome would have been a little better. But those are all things. Those are all things that are, in the moment, they suck. But you know, in the time after, the time that I can take, to drive home and decompress and think about everything, those are all good things to know. You
Right.
know, there's been a lot of times lately, and even Darcy said that. She was like, what, she didn't say it, but she was like, what are you doing? Why are you second guessing yourself? When I had this conversation with her, she's like, you've done this a lot lately. Like, I just panic swap, right? We've all done it, whether it's tires or gears or shoes or helmets or whatever. So in some aspect of your cycling life, you've had a moment of panic where you've swapped, and it's either worked out for you or it hasn't. And I feel like all the times I've panic swapped my equipment, it's like 50-50. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And I got bit in
Yeah.
the ass, and I got really bit in the ass this time. Um, so immediately when I got home and I was like, the hell with this. I put a 48 on. I was like, all right, I want to see what this. I was like, I put a 48 on, and I was like, I should have put this gear on,
Yeah.
because it sounds ludicrous, but the higher your cassette is in the back, the more range you have in the rear. You have to go bigger in the front to balance it out. You'll get a better chain line. You won't burn yourself out. You'll have gear for the downhills. You'll have plenty of gear for the uphills. And it just bit me in the ass, and I don't have anyone to blame. It's not like I can point fingers at a mechanic or a coach or you, Rob, or Leah, and say, you guys told me to do this. And
Well, you can always point fingers at me, but
I would never, but it's good. Looking back on it, it was a shitty experience in the moment, but knowing what I know now about it, it's a good thing, because I can, when the panic starts to set in, I can go, chill out, dude. Everything's going to be just fine.
So was this on the new bike?
Yeah, yeah.
What'd you think?
Oh, I love it. I love my new bike. For those of you that don't know, I got sponsored by Haro, so I'm riding their gravel bike, Haro Buzzard. Um, it's good. It's dialed. I have to still tweak some of the touch points. Um, but as far as handling, I loved it. I loved it. I still got to figure out the steering on it. I think I got to go with a longer stem, because I'm used to it now, because it has such a larger rake, than a fork rake, than I'm used to. It's a 65 versus my old bike, which was a 45. So it rides different. It'll catch, and then I'll get a little head swap. And I think I just need to go a little further out with the stem, and then it'll balance it all out. So I'm going to work on that. But and I ran different tires. I ran a tire I never ran before. So I ran I'm usually a Pathfinder guy in various sizes. Um, I ran Vittoria um, gravel dry in an endurance casing. They came with the bike, so I'm like, okay, this is good, because I was actually gonna purchase those tires, but they came with, so I'm like, I'm gonna try these out. And for those of you that don't know, they got like they're built like a file tread, essentially. They have like
Yeah.
a fish scale pattern in the middle with high shoulders, and it's a very, very nice tire in the size 45. But I think I would opt out of the endurance casing, because it's a little heavier. Um, but yeah, the bike is good. I just gotta fine tune the touch points a little bit.
Yeah.
That
Cool.
I should have done that in the weeks prior, but I didn't want to bother you, Rob.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, last time we talked, you said you were super busy, so I didn't want to
Yeah.
throw.
He's
I
always
don't
super
want to do that.
busy.
That's the thing.
I know it. I know he is.
I
but
will always be busy, and that's
That's good.
it's a matter of you've heard me say it, but it's what is busy work or what is productive work, and it's
Yeah.
I understand that I've got the wrong mix sometimes, but I don't
Yeah, we all
acknowledge
do.
it or see it in the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, I got to do all this stuff.
Yeah. I do wish I had it has GRX mechanical on it, which I'm not hating. My old cross bike came with GRX mechanical and it works just fine. But I do wish I had my DI2 on it. It's so much nicer to go like this versus wham.
Yeah.
Versus like a whole like hand slap.
Yeah.
I did miss that. I was like, oh God, it's so nice just to like flick my finger versus having to shift an entire lever
Yeah. I have
with
to
a
push this whole thing.
yeah, with a cold arthritic wrist.
Yeah.
It's killing
Or
me.
when it's cold out and you got gloves on, it's like,
Yeah.
oh.
But it's not bad. It's not bad, but
Yeah.
I just don't know like
Right
I
now,
don't
there's 10 guys that raced on down tube shifters that are screaming at their
Oh yeah.
podcasting device.
Yeah, I mean it's small, very small problems to have. Very
Right.
very small. I'm thankful that I have a fantastic bike and a bike that works good and it gets me where I need to go. And it's just the finite things. It's this nice electronic shifting is nice.
Yeah,
It really is.
I will literally say that I am that guy that has raced on down tube shifters. I have raced with toe clips on, and what else? Oh, and I raced before helmets were required.
My first road bike, it was a Paramount Dave Scott, like Kona edition, and it had down tube shifters. And then
Yep.
I got a Shimano hookup and got some of the old STIs.
STI levers.
Speaking
Yeah.
of old school, I got
Yeah.
very humbled on Mount Lemon. Old lady,
Not you.
had to be in her 80s on an old she's on a Colnago, no helmet, just has that body shape of somebody that has been on a bicycle her entire life.
She's got a cap back
Rode
aerodynamic
past me going up the mountain.
Yeah.
I was like, I said something to her nicely, and she said something back that was clearly not in American, not English.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is old, withered, old, like Italian lady or something out here, just probably been riding these mountains like this.
She does Lemon twice a day.
And I'm just like, oh, I'm so impressed. So impressed.
Oh hell yeah! When you see people like that, you can't you got to check your ego and be like, that's what I want to do when I'm that old.
And I didn't see this. Somebody else in my camp group said they saw her going down and then saw her going back up again.
Yeah, I'm telling you, twice. She's a 2 a day or 3 times a week on Lemon.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, obviously she had Campagnolo.
I did not notice. I should have taken a closer look.
We're talking old school stuff. I do have to point this one out. I was asked to put a Campagnolo cassette a wheel with a Campagnolo free hub body and cassette onto a bike, which is that a Colnago or no? It's a Bianchi. That has Shimano, a whole Shimano group on it. And I had to go and he's like, yeah, you can figure it out. And I'm like, it's not if I can figure it out. It's what dark corners of the internet am I going to have to go to now to remember all this information about how to interchange between the two? Got it down to I needed a JTEC shift mate, which that should ring some bells for old guys. But turns out they're not for sale in the U.S. anymore. I wonder why. And
right?
I had to write to the company, which is based in the UK, and they pointed me to a shop in the UK that sells them online. I bought them online and it shipped Royal Mail. I should have it. I don't know, whenever it gets here.
By shop, you mean like some old dude's
I
shed
don't
in the
know.
back of right?
Could have been
In the
that
back
old.
of
He
his
had the internet.
farmland. Yeah.
So,
Everyone's got the internet.
I mean, that's going to show up. And then I vaguely remember reading things like, if you're going from a Shimano 10 shifter to a Campy 10 cassette, then you have to put one cable on the big pulley and the other cable on that pulley. It's just like, oh God, I haven't had to do this crap in a long ass time.
You're telling me you spent the week down the rabbit hole?
No, I looked enough to figure this out, and then I asked the customer. I waited for him to show up, and then he's like, "Oh, it's not done yet." And I'm like, "Dude, do you want to spend this money to get this going?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, that's fine." I go, "I got to order parts from Europe," and he's like, "Yeah, that's fine, whatever."
Wow,
man,
you're hoping for a no.
I was kind of hoping. Although there's a part of me that, so he's going off of a set of 808s, tubulars, of course, 808s, and he's going on to an old Colnago branded like 50-ish millimeter wheel set with this free hub body. I went and I looked it up because I was like, maybe I can get the free hub body for this thing. I went and I looked it up, and the only reference I have to that wheel set anywhere on the internet comes from like 2009 maybe. And I'm like, yeah, no, there's no free hub body anywhere for this thing unless I go find this exact thing for sale on eBay. So I don't have the time for this shit. So
that's great.
But of course they're both tubulars,
Tubular.
You will
tubulare.
You will figure it out.
No, I know it's already coming. It's on the fly, but whatever.
Nice.
And now you just have to build my new bike.
Oh, wait. Speaking of tech, well, we'll talk about your new bike here in a second. But speaking of tech, I did want to cover. I did get a notice a couple of days ago from SRAM that they were doing a new product like information session. This is the we didn't include you in any of the pre stuff, so you might as well figure out what it is at the same time everybody else does. I wish they would tell us what kind of product it is, at least, because quite honestly, I'm not going to waste my time if it's mountain bike stuff. And so I didn't sign up for it, thank God, and it was mountain bike stuff. So they apparently, their new latest and greatest thing is that they figured out that they can still do mechanical shifting, I guess. So they have new mechanical shifting mountain bike groups. Not interesting. The thing of interest, though, that I did catch out of that, I read a brief thing. There's no bead tension adjustment, and there's no high or low limit screws, which I thought was interesting.
Set it and forget it.
I apparently I'm going to guess that it's because it's like a transmission setup or something. But the one thing that is of note, they have now. This is their second brake series. They did downhill, and now they have a cross country brake that is mineral oil based instead of DOT fluid. So they have finally designed some functioning brakes. And the thing is, it's like, did they double and triple down on this whole dot situation because they were afraid of trying to admit that they did it wrong or something? Because here's the thing. You now are putting out mineral oil brakes, and everybody in the world acknowledges that those are better brakes, and we're all happy about it. And we're giving you kudos. So, it's, I don't know. It just, if you're ever in, and nothing to do with SRAM, but if you're ever a part of any company that is just maintaining what you've been doing because of the hubris of, well, we had to convince so many people that we were right when we decided to do this the first time, we can't really go back on it. You can go back on it if it's the right thing to do. I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah. So anyway, that's my tech talk. We have, so after this week.
Wait. Let's all take a moment to give Rob kudos. I'm keeping that short. Keeping your tech talk short.
Yeah.
I would love to sit and talk about tech talk. I taught myself nickel plating so I can nickel plate parts for my Model A Ford. We can talk about that for 4 hours. But anyway,
please.
After this week, we have Rough Road next weekend.
Yeah.
So Rough Road's coming up. I do want to plug Rough Road. Great event. now that I've raced it and gone out there and raced it, we are in some way, shape, or form a sponsor of the event. I'm not exactly sure how that all works as of now, but I keep getting copied on sponsor stuff for it. So, like, as though we are, and we keep getting tagged as sponsors. So, we're sponsors of the event. I know that Leah is heavily involved in the women's side of that, women's race of that, because of the BMC.
BMC is a sponsor of the event, and they are very interested in seeing a big women's turnout for this race. So they're offering a big prize payout for the top women's team.
There's a lot of money out there.
There's a lot of money. I think it's like over $2,000. And so by team, they mean the top 4 finishers from your team, all those times get combined, and the lowest overall number wins the big cash prize at the end of the day. So it's really inspiring a lot of women to get organized and get their teammates to come out. And I don't know how many exactly I have from signed up, but it's definitely more than 4. So we have a pretty good chunk of participation, which is exciting.
I hope you guys win it, and I hope we take that money and put it in the team coffers, and I'm able to buy myself a BMC out of it. Well, at least a down payment on one.
Right.
Speaking of which,
that's not even to cover the handlebars.
You never know. There's some good bikes out there. I've had.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I built quite a few BMCs now, and I've always liked the bikes, but having them in the stand, man, that's something else. That really is something else. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, I've got one in the stand right now. Would you like to?
Yeah. So I just picked up my new ambassador bike from BMC, and I'm so excited to put it together. We decided to go with a road bike instead of gravel this year, and they have the new Team Machine R, which is an absolute rocket ship of a bike from everything that I've heard. It was designed in partnership with Red Bull. Basically, they asked Red Bull to design the absolute fastest, most aerodynamic bike that they could come up with, bar none. And then BMC took it back and tweaked it a little bit for the ride quality that BMC is so famous for. So yeah, I'm in the process of putting it together right now, but I'm super stoked to get out on it soon.
I don't know. I kept unboxing it, just going, of course. And of course you get this nice bike to ride. What's that like? Anyway, it is beautiful though. Yeah. And it is coming even higher spec than I think either one of us thought it was going to be. So
yeah. So
did you get the right size handlebars?
Yeah, you know, here's the crazy funny coincidence on that is that so my teammate Katie, she's got the same bike also for being her ambassador bike for BMC. So we have different size frames. However, she's got actually a smaller frame than me. She's on a 47, I'm on a 51. Despite the fact that I'm 2 inches shorter than her, I need a bigger frame because I need the higher stack because I'm all leg and no torso. So I just need to shrink up my reach. So we just took our handlebars out of the boxes and switched them because she needs a longer reach and I need the shorter reach. So boop, we just switched them.
Nice.
And we did a little rough measuring today and compared it to my existing road bike, and it's pretty much spot on. So fortuitous. Nice. So that's that. And yeah, so hopefully I'll be out on it soon.
Well, it's a road bike. You won't have it out there.
You should race that at Rough Road.
Yeah. You know, I'm thinking about it. You can fit up to a 30 millimeter tire in it.
You don't need a gravel bike for Rough Road. It's a road race.
I actually have 30 millimeter tires on my road wheels right now because it's what I was riding down in Tucson, and so yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
I would run that bike 100%.
Yeah. I'm pretty much been thinking that same thought.
Yeah,
I could run 30s on my
For anybody
Vessel.
listening that is doing rough road, find a road bike and ride it at rough road.
You're not the only two that have said that.
Don't bring a gravel bike.
Somebody else I was talking to said they were going to run a road bike for rough road this year.
That race is 95% road.
Yeah, I mean,
and even the gravel is packed down.
If you're racing it, that's one thing. If you're going out there to ride it on your gravel bike. It's comfortable. It's more comfortable. I'm going to ride it on my gravel bike because I'm not doing
the only thing that could be a wrench in that, from what I understand, is that the last 7 to 8 miles on the trail, on the limestone trail, if it's wet, it gets really, really mucky, and being on a bigger tire is
it gets pretty. It's if it's wet, it's heavy peanut butter.
Yeah,
it's slow.
Yeah, so I don't know. Depends on weather conditions, I guess.
Pick your poison. I looked. It looks like you guys are going to have 50 something degrees.
Yeah, I took a quick peek today.
It'll be windy like it always is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be out there doing that, and then the weekend after that, we've got
Barrier
Bay. So quick start to everything.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like we shouldn't even be starting yet this year, and we're already going full gas.
Yeah.
And then it'll be done. We won't have any races for like 6 months or something.
Right.
What do you mean? There's always racing.
Yeah, whatever. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Well, and Paris-Roubaix is coming up on the 13th of April. And I know some people are super excited about that because Tadej Pogačar just announced that he's going to be racing. And that's been the big buzz on the internet. So,
yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think he screwed the pooch at Milan to San Remo, but I don't know what he could have done different. And I don't want to say he screwed the pooch, but I mean, it didn't go the way he wanted.
It's not ever going to, because if Van der Poel's there, Van der Poel's a fucking beast.
Yep. If he can close those moves, which he can do.
Yeah. Van der Poel's ceiling is ridiculously high, as is Tadej's. But they're I mean, it's nice to see. It's nice to see two almost equally matched individuals.
Yeah, completely different too, though. They have a completely different set of skills, it seems like. But
right.
It's interesting to see how those play out in these type of races.
Yeah.
And then Paris-Roubaix, that's going to be something completely different as well too. I don't know that he necessarily has a chance to win it. I think if he had ridden it 3 or 4 times, he would have more of a chance. But this is his first time racing it, so I just don't see it.
I agree with you, Rob. I don't think that doing recon is going to remotely come close to race speed. I think that from what I heard, and I could be incorrect, but I heard that the chicane was back in. Now the chicane before the Ironbird First is out. So it's full gas, 70 miles an hour into a minefield.
Yeah.
But
and if you're...
He is smart enough to know all of this, right? So he knows he's coming in there without that experience. So I have to assume that, being the smart bike racer that he is, he's doing research
long before then.
Yeah, but look at think about this. Think about, obviously Van der Poel's have a ton of success there, correct? Tadej is Tadej. Tadej could come in and just clean house because he has that ability. But think about the team. Tadej's team is built for Tadej doesn't have a classics team. Tadej has a mountain team.
Yeah.
He's got the Tour de France killer team. Van der Poel's dudes are all one-day classic, like heavy, beastly humans that can just do 600 watts for an hour. That's a huge difference. I mean, you guys have all seen the social media after last year's Paris-Roubaix, where it's like Matthew blasting through cobbles at like 70 miles an hour. And it looks beautiful, but I'm sure it's hard as hell.
Oh my God, yeah. I wish we had Mike here today, because I mean, hell, he's actually raced it, and could tell us.
You know what Mike would say? I'll fill in for Mike. I don't know, dude. I don't know, dude. Dude, I don't know, dude. It was so long ago, dude. I don't fucking know, dude.
Yeah, it's a hard race. Fucking hard race,
Yeah,
it's a hard race.
Like, Mike,
I mean, it's just so hard.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, and everything has to go right before you even get there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he could have an incident 50K in and be out the back. Who knows?
But
That's why it's exciting.
What's interesting about this is that this generation of racer has completely changed how they're racing, and has completely changed what the traditional script on these races looks like. So that's why I'm interested in actually watching it happen to see if something changes. But that's the day after Barry-Roubaix this year.
Yeah, we might have to be watching it from the living room at the Barry house.
The Barry Perry double.
Yep.
Yeah.
There could be a dark horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
There could be, like, I look at a team like Uno X, all those just behemoth Norwegian dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's scheduled to race it, but Pidcock could be a factor if he's on the start line.
I don't know. I mean, Pidcock is such a phenomenal talent, but I don't know. I think he's going to be.
Off.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say he would be a favorite, but he could. On the day of days, and I mean,
I get this weird feeling he's going to be the perpetual bridesmaid, so to speak.
Maybe in that race, but I mean, you got the X factor and which Van Aert you're going to get. He spent a month and a half at altitude. Is he going to benefit from it, or is he going to? I don't know.
I'm writing Wild out.
I'm not writing him out.
I don't want to write him out.
He loves this race too much, and if you put that much effort, he put probably as much effort into preparing for these next two races as dudes put in for the Tour de France, like GC contenders, because he needs these races. So who knows? It's an exciting time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody can keep that one in mind. Well, I'll circle back and see how that goes. Any closing thoughts?
I had a bunch before we got on, but they all left my brain.
Yeah, that's how mine works.
Yeah. Go ride your bike and have fun.
Yeah.
Go buy some buttonhole chamois cream. You can get it at your local retailer. Look for our new packaging, although not much of it's out there yet. But go look for the new packaging and, cover your,
cooch.
Your bits.
Whatever. Jeez. I got kind of explicit there.
Would you expect anything less?
No, I was trying to think of a lyric and I can't think of it right now, but all right. Well, thanks for joining us. And hopefully we'll see you here this next week. And in the meantime, enjoy the ride.